London, London, gonna lay down my burden by that mighty shore. I ain't gonna wander no more. The city grows like a mighty tree, offering shelter to you and me, a weary traveler, those in peril on the sea. And I know when I'm far away, I will hear that river call, washing my blues away. When I'm coming home to the river that flows all the way from that heart, all the way to my soul, it fills up my eyes, fills up my heart, and it fills my soul. London, London, gonna lay down my burden by that mighty shore. You know I ain't gonna wander no more. Under my feet, where London's heart beats, a city of artists neath these vagabond streets, city of princes, city of thieves, which no one wants to leave. And I know when I'm far away, I will hear that river call, washing my blues away. Oh yeah, when I'm coming home to the river that flows all the way from that heart, all the way to my soul, it fills up my eyes, fills up my heart, and it fills my soul. Fill my soul, fill my soul. Won't you fill my soul?
London was a fast-growing, bustling city in the late 1700s. Around 20,000 black people already lived here. Many did unskilled labouring jobs, or for the women, even worse. Women were abandoned by their masters or left as widows. There were at least 2 all-black brothels in London for the entertainment and delectation of the upper classes.
Naught but a painted black mommet am I, bought for the master's pleasure, sought for my beauty and a fine conversation, and these long small fingers, so nimble, so patient, ensuring the master's pleasure. So many masters, they walk through these doors, men of renown and of riches, some of them of a lascivious mind, some of them frolicsome, loathsome, or kind, but all with their brains in their breeches. Whatever these masters do want me to be, I'll be before they can but ask me. Far lands scattered over with rubies and gold, a Shulamite's kisses to keep out the cold, all through a looking glass darkly.
Other black people in London were freed slaves trying to make their fortunes. Eventually, it became the centre of activity for both Equiano and Newton, as their paths got closer. Newton took up a London parish in 1780. Long before that, Equiano was emerging as a well-known and respected figure among influential society. Amazing Grace was written in the same year that saw the first step towards the abolition of slavery. In 1772, Lord Mansfield's legal judgment in the Somerset case ruled that in England, no master was ever allowed here to take a slave by force to be sold abroad because he deserted from his service or for any other reason whatever. The case was championed by the abolitionist Granville Sharp and meant that the slave James Somerset could stay in Britain. It became a major talking point in Britain and abroad. William Cowper even wrote a poem about it. 2 years later, Equiano's friend John Annis was kidnapped in London by his master to be sent back into slavery in St. Kitts. Equiano, using his London contacts, went to Granville Sharp.
I attempted to regain John his liberty, having known the want of liberty myself. I proceeded immediately to that philanthropist, Granville Sharp, who received me with the utmost kindness and gave me every instruction that was needful on this occasion. I left him in full hope that I should gain the unhappy man his liberty with the warmest sense of gratitude towards Mr. Sharp for his kindness.
Annis had been shipped before they could get to court. But the meeting led to a long-term collaboration and friendship between Sharp and Equiano, as Sharp confirmed in a letter to his sister. Many years ago, he was advised by General Oglethorpe to call on me. He was afterwards for a short time in my brother James Sharp's service. He was an honest, sober man, and I went to see him when he was on his deathbed and had lost his voice, so he could only whisper. In 1783, Equiano sought Sharp's help again over the appalling behaviour of the crew of the Zong slave ship. When the ship was in trouble, the crew threw 140 captive Africans overboard and watched them drown. Then they claimed the insurance on them because they were deemed as cargo. Sharp wrote in his diary, "Gustavus Vassar, a Negro, called on me with an account of 130 Negroes being thrown alive into the sea. Sharp, like much of the nation, was appalled and outraged. He led a successful campaign to overturn the decision to pay that compensation. And this was the second most significant step towards the abolition of slavery. It led to the creation of the Society for the Abolition of Slavery on the 22nd of May, 1787, with Granville Sharp as its president. William Wilberforce became the parliamentary spokesman for the Society for the Abolition of Slavery just a few months after it was founded, at the beginning of 1788. On the 2nd of December 1785, Wilberforce wrote to his long-term friend and mentor, John Newton, "I wish to have some serious conversation with you. I have had 10,000 doubts within myself whether or not I should discover myself to you. But every argument against it has its foundation in pride. I am sure you will hold yourself bound to let no one living know of my visit. Remember that I must be secret, and that the gallery of the house is now so universally attended that the face of a member is pretty well known. Newton had known Wilberforce since Wilberforce was a child, as their families were friends in Olney. Wilberforce had long been appalled by the slave trade and was determined to take it up, either in Parliament or as a preacher. He met Newton on the 7th of December, 1785, and so began a historic partnership. In the interview I had with him, he advised me against making any more religious acquaintances and to continue in Parliament. On the 28th of October 1787, after a day-long meeting with Newton, Wilberforce wrote in his journal, "God Almighty has set before me two great objects, the suppression of the slave trade and the reformation of manners." 2 days later, he requested information on the slave trade from the newly created Society for the Abolition of Slavery. At the suggestion of his friend the Prime Minister, William Pitt the Younger, he announced that he would be introducing a House of Commons motion to abolish the slave trade.
I'm sorry for the slave trade, I'm sorry for the violence, sorry for the bloodshed, sorry for the silence, sorry for the prisons, the padlocks and the gates, sorry for the gangs, sorry for the hate. I don't know how we're gonna get out of the mess we're in. No, there's only one way to begin. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for enclosure, sorry for the greed, sorry for the people who were never freed. I'm sorry for the garden, sorry for the fall. I'm sorry Cain killed Abel. I'm sorry for it all. I don't know how we're gonna get out of the mess we're in. Only know there's only one way to begin. I'm so sorry. Governments stay silent. Kings and queens protect their money. We've got to start somewhere. Guess it starts with me. And I'm so sorry. A white man's tears mean nothing. Only justice will set us free. Until our leaders stop hiding, it's up to you and me. I'm sorry for the slave trade, sorry for the violence, sorry for the bloodshed, sorry for the silence. I don't know how we're gonna get out of the mess we're in. Only know there's only one way to begin. I'm so sorry.
Two publications now captured the public imagination. They made even bigger celebrities of both Newton and Equiano, and increased the clamour for abolition. Urged on by Sharp's abolitionists, Newton published his 40-page Thoughts on the African Slave Trade in 1788, the same year the Society was founded. This devastating pamphlet was sent to every member of Parliament and led to his being called in front of the Government Commission on Abolition to give evidence. The following year, financially supported by the same people who had backed Newton, Equiano published The Interesting Narrative of the Life of Olaudah Equiano, or Gustavus Vassa, the African. His book was so popular it ran to 9 editions, with more overseas, and he toured the country, becoming a celebrated speaker. He was, with 2 other London-based former slaves, Cuguano and Ignatius Sancho, founder of the Sons of Africa, who wrote books, pamphlets, letters, including one to Queen Charlotte, who some say was of African descent, to persuade the king to support abolition. Both Newton's and Equiano's publications give a horrific view of the Middle Passage, the Atlantic journey into enslavement. From Newton. When 150 or 200 stout men are torn from their native land, many of whom never saw the sea, much less a ship, they are embarked. They have, probably, the same natural prejudice against a white man as we have against a black, and often bring with them an apprehension that they were bought to be eaten. It is not to be expected that they will tamely resign themselves to their situation and will attempt to gain their liberty. We dare not trust them, so we receive them on board from the first as enemies. They are put in irons. Hand and foot of each on the same side are fettered together, so that they cannot move either hand or foot, but with great caution and with perfect consent. Thus they must sit, walk, and lie for many months, without any mitigation or relief, unless they are sick. I have seen them sentenced to whippings, continued until the poor creatures have not had the power to groan under their misery, and hardly a sign of life has remained.
I was soon put down under the decks, and there received such a salutation in my nostrils as I had never experienced in my life. 2 of the white men offered me eatables, and on my refusing to eat, one held me fast by the hands and tied my feet, while the other flogged me severely. When the whole ship's cargo were confined together, it became absolutely pestilential. The closeness of the place and the heat, added to the number in the ship, which was so crowded that each had scarcely room to turn himself, almost suffocated us. This brought on a sickness among the slaves, of which many died. This wretched situation was again aggravated by the galling of the chains and the filth of the necessary tubs. The shrieks of the women and the groans of the dying rendered the whole a scene of horror almost inconceivable.
Grace will lead me home. Grace will lead me home. Like a candle in the dark, it's grace that will lead me home.
And their differing perspectives of what they were both part of. From Equiana.
Is it not enough that we are torn from our country and friends to toil for your luxury and lust of gain? Must every tender feeling be likewise sacrificed to your avarice? Why are parents to lose their children, brothers their sisters, or husbands their wives? Surely this is a new refinement in cruelty that aggravates distress and adds fresh horrors even to the wretchedness of slavery. From Newton.
I hope it will always be a subject of humiliating reflection to me that I was once active in a business at which now my heart shudders. As disagreeable as I had long found it, I think I should have quitted it sooner had I considered it, as I do now, to be unlawful and wrong. But I never had a scruple on this head at the time, nor was such a thought once suggested to me by any of my friends.
Paul and Silas were bound in jail. They had no money for their bail. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Paul and Silas thought they were lost. The dungeon shook and the chains fell off. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Freedom's name is mighty sweet. Soon we're gonna meet. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Got my hand on that gospel plow. Won't take nothing for my journey now. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. The only chain that we can stand is the chain of hand on hand. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. I'm gonna board that big greyhound. Take my love from town to town. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. The only thing that I did wrong was to stay in the wilderness too long. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. The only thing that we did right was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on.
Wilberforce's bill met much resistance in Parliament because of the private interest in fortunes invested in the trade. Nevertheless, Newton encouraged Wilberforce at every turn. On the 15th of March, 1796, Wilberforce was devastated when what appeared to be a certain victory in the House of Commons was dashed by a whim. 6 of his supporters decided not to go to Parliament, but to go to the opening of a new opera instead. Wilberforce accumulated 70 votes for abolition. The votes against were 74. A disheartened Wilberforce told Newton he was considering giving up public life altogether. Newton was powerfully persuasive in a letter. Though you have not fully succeeded in your persevering endeavours to abolish the slave trade as yet, the business is still in train. And since you took it in hand, the condition of slaves already in our islands has undoubtedly ameliorated. The example and even the presence of a consistent character may have a powerful, though unobserved, effect upon others. Equiano never lived to see his dream fulfilled. He died in 1797. His fellow sons of Africa, Cuguano and Ignatius Sancho, whose writings were also published, died before abolition too. On the 23rd of February 1807, the House of Commons voted to end the practice of trading in human beings. The debate lasted 10 hours, and the House voted 283 to 16, far greater than expected. The bill received royal assent on the 25th of March 1807. Newton died on the 21st of December in the same year. But it wasn't until 1833 that slavery itself was abolished, after another campaign spearheaded by Wilberforce. The Abolition of Slavery Bill was passed on the 26th of July, 1833. Wilberforce said, "Thank God that I should have lived to witness the day in which England is willing to give 20 millions sterling for the abolition of slavery." He died 3 days later, aged 73. That £20 million was the amount borrowed by the British government to pay the British slave traders compensation for their loss of business by the banning of their trade. None went to any of the slaves. And in today's money, that 20 million is approximately 2 trillion, which is the total amount of income that our whole country earns every year. And by another irony, our government only finally repaid its loan to cover that compensation in 2015, the same year that Obama sang Amazing Grace at Clementia Pinckney's funeral. Amazing Grace was first published with the New Britain tune We Know in 1829. At that time in the USA, there was a huge religious revival, particularly among the black population, with large choirs using shape note singing to express their love of God. As evangelism spread rapidly across the country, Singing Billy Walker capitalized on the desire for more hymn compilations with his best-selling 1835 Southern Harmony and Musical Companion. It included Amazing Grace, and from there its popularity spread. It was adapted, expanded, adopted, and most often sung by people who had no idea about the history of the man who wrote it. Since then, it's continued to take on a life of its own, way beyond the original intention, still full of contradictions and complexities. It was sung at the start of protest marches by Mahalia Jackson with Martin Luther King. She said to protect the marchers against the police. Joan Baez sang it at Live Aid. Judy Collins performed it as a Vietnam protest song. Johnny Cash adopted it for his prison reform campaign. Jesse Norman closed the Nelson Mandela concert with it. Aretha Franklin sang it as the title track of what is still the best-selling gospel album of all time. Arlo Guthrie gave it to Woodstock. Phyllis Adams sang it this year at the funeral of President Jimmy Carter. Even Tom sings it in Uncle Tom's Cabin. Yet the legacy of slavery and racial divisions still pervades our streets today.
Newton is still sailing in a ship full of slaves, while beneath the streets of London, Stephen Lawrence is in his grave. The devil plays the king, we want God to play the ace, while the choir still sings Amazing Grace, Amazing Grace, Amazing Grace. Work the slave to death and hang his body in a tree. Feeding the birds of the air, dripping poppies in a field. Mary's in the garden with her tears and widow's lace, singing hymns to the morning, hear her sing. Amazing Grace, Amazing Grace, Amazing Grace. When you are arrested for being in the wrong place, and you are convicted by virtue of your race, when hope turns to hopeless, light a candle in the dark, let that still small voice ring out. Amazing Grace, Amazing Grace, Amazing Grace. I'm no slave, but I'm too poor to be free. Who is gonna save a wretch like me when home ain't no more, 'cause the bombers took that place? Now even refugees sing Amazing Grace, Amazing Grace, Amazing Grace. I'm lost and I'm lonely where the homeless people roam. I live in hope that grace will lead me home. I look at the world, tears roll down my face. There's a song in my heart and it's called Amazing Grace, Amazing Grace, Amazing Grace.
And now we are going to sing Amazing Grace. The Amazing Grace that you know. Can I ask the choir, Tennyson Choir, please to come up here with us? And I think you've all got the words. So if we can have the choir up here, please. Right up, come right up here. So if we can have half of you here and half of you over there, that would be brilliant. That's it. And then the other half over there, that's great. The other half over there. And we're going to sing this in a spirit of friendship, in a spirit of love, compassion, inclusion, togetherness. You all know it, you've all got the words. So let's all sing together. If you want to stand up to sing it, please feel free to do so. Let's all sing Amazing Grace. very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.